This is Dr. Herbert Harris, and this is the New You Resurrection webinar. I'd like to welcome you and just tell you a little about ourselves. I'm an author, speaker, trainer, a retired attorney, and as you can see, we have written a number of books over the last few years. How to Make Money in Music was our first book. The Golden 12 Universal Rules for Achieving Success, and the 12 Universal Laws of Success. I've been involved in the network marketing arena for, over 35 years, and am an elite distributor and million-dollar earner. Now, the book that this webinar is based on is the 12 Universal Laws of Success. And this book has been really around the world over the last over 15 years, and there are over 800,000 copies in print. And it's been translated into 9 languages: Chinese, French, Italian, Spanish, Romanian, Czechoslovakian, and some other languages. Tonight, I want to welcome you to the New You Resurrection webinar. And the purpose of this webinar is really to introduce you to the possibility for change. Dr. Albert Einstein said that the definition of insanity is doing something over and over and expecting a different result. So many of us who are, you might say, in the personal development arena, we find ourselves, on many occasions, we find ourselves repeating behaviors that have either kept us stuck where we are or that will help us go to the next level. So to continue doing what we've been doing over and over and expecting a different result is insanity. Our goal then is to learn from the past, prepare for the future, but live in the present. That's Thomas Monson. And the idea is that the path is instructive, but it should not be captivating. The future is hopeful, but it is not yet reality. Today, what we do now is the key. We must act and live in the present. So the question is, if your life is not going the way you want it to right now, then clearly it's time for a change. The reference for this portion of the webinar is, of course, the 12 Universal Laws of Success, pages 53 through 61, the second law of success. And the second law of success really says, be not conformed to this world, that you don't have to stay stuck in whatever your present situation, that you can be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you can think a new thought and change your entire life. The 12 Universal Laws of Success Super Achiever Edition is indeed our reference book. And much of the information contained in the class and in the course comes directly from the reference book. And we use the webinar to interpret and to use it and to take it to a whole nother level. So let's look at an overview of what we're going to cover tonight. Part 1 is about assessing your present situation. And the interesting thing about that is you can imagine a GPS and a success GPS to take you from where you are to where you want to be. The GPS requires 2 things. It requires a destination, but it also requires a location. So to assess your present condition, because if we're talking about changing our lives, we have to know changing from what and then to what. The second part is on making the life changes, that once you've assessed your present situation, then you can make life changes. You make life changes to create the success that you are seeking. The third section is on defining your goals and objectives. What must you do to set new goals based on the changes necessary to create the new life for yourself? And then part 4 is about the commitment to action. What do you have to do to get it done, to really begin to work at it and make it happen? The question is always, are you happy with your life? And that's a profound question, because if you're not happy, really nothing else matters. You can be wealthy. If you're not happy, then that's a pure signal to make a change in your life. And if you're not happy, then do you believe that you can be more, that you can do more, that you can have more? And so the key to transforming yourself, the key to changing, to creating the new you, the resurrected you, to create the life of your dreams, is to assess where you're at, address the things that need to be fixed, and then progress along the way. What we find is where we are in life, whatever we are experiencing in our lives right now, is a result of four things: our thoughts, our emotions, our habits, and our relationships. Our thoughts, the first law of success says, a mind shall have whatsoever it thinks in its heart. Our emotions is the heart that the thought is processed through. Our habits are our daily routines, the things we do without thinking. And our relationships is really about who do we permit to come into our lives. So then, what must you do to be happy? What is necessary for you to create the life of your dreams? What is necessary to create the happiness that you would like to experience in your life? Number one, you got a desire to change. The scripture says, seek and you shall find, knock and it shall be answered, knock and it shall be opened, ask and it shall be answered. If you're not seeking, even if you find things, people who hit the lottery may not be seeking wealth in that consciousness to attract wealth, they're just playing a lottery. And so even though they may get results, a large percentage of them over a period of time lose that money. So what must you do to be happy? Number one, you got a desire to change. Number two, you have to be honest with yourself. And when I say be honest with yourself, I mean you have to take responsibility for whatever it is. Whatever your life is, you did it. In this first part, we talk about the Ben Franklin method. And Ben Franklin, one of the founding fathers of the country, had a very profound way of handling situations, had a very profound way of determining what's happening in his life. So the Ben Franklin method deals with what he calls victories and lessons. And the idea of victories and lessons is that your victories are the good things you've done, the positive things you've done. Your successes, the things that you're proud of. Your lessons are the negative things that have happened. We'll call them, I won't say failures. There's no such thing as failure. The lessons are about, and what do you learn from them? The Ben Franklin method says this. It says, take all of your positives, all your successful things, all your good ideas, all your good people, all the positive things that you've accomplished, and list them on the left side. You draw, if you can imagine, a cross. And on the left side of that cross, above the horizontal line, you put victories. And on the right side, you put lessons. When we think about that idea of what's happening, where you're at right now, did you have more victories or more lessons? If you had more victories, that's a good thing, because that says now that you can move forward from this moment forward with just a few adjustments. If you've had more lessons, then that's a sign that you need to do a checkup from the neck up. So once you've done that, you get a good sense of like where I'm going in my life, what's going on. I either need to make some minor adjustments, I need to take a major overhaul. The next thing we like to interpose is this, that what about your goals? See, because once you start looking at your positive, your pluses and your minus, the question is, what about your goals? what were your goals when you started this year? And write them down. Now, let me just share this with you. If you had no goals, then we can see the problem. You see, if you don't have written goals, then there's a very, very low possibility. Well, think about this. If you have no goals, then anything you do is an accomplishment. I think in Alice in Wonderland, it says, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. But in this Ben Franklin method, you now look up and say, well, I didn't have any goals this year. If that's the case, folks, let me stop you right now. We need to go to part 3, which is to define some new goals for yourself. So if you don't have any goals right now, it's not fatal, because you can always create a new ending. But let's go to a deeper question. Are you happy with your life now? I think we asked it earlier, but now let's answer it in a very profound way. Now that you've done your assessment, your victories and your lessons, are you happy with what you see? If you're not happy with what you see, then it's time to make some serious adjustments. If you are happy with what you see, you may make some minor changes, but in any event, you move forward. The idea is that based on this assessment now, you can make a listing of what changes you must make in your life to create the life that you desire, to create the money, to create the security, to create whatever things you desire. What do you have to do to make it happen? And this takes us now to lesson 2, part 2. And part 2 says, now that you know where you're at, now that you know your level of happiness, now that you know how close you came to achieving your goals, then it's now time to make some changes so that you can rectify all of that. So the question in lesson 2 or part 2 is, what must you do to make the changes for success in your life? The foundation for change. Number 1, live by the book. That once you make this decision to change your life and to start doing things the way that you want them to do, and having the things you want to have, then live by the book. You got to have a planner. You got to have a daily planner. If you do not have a planner, something that you can write in every day, the things you have to accomplish that day, your appointments that day, chances are you will not achieve the level of success that you're capable of. So live by the book. I know some of you want to do it on the phone. I guess I'm just old school, but I think there's something with this eye-hand coordination. Maybe there's an eye-computer-thumb coordination for typing the stuff into your phone. I'm not aware of that, but I know that there's a certain vibration between the eye-hand coordination and to live by the book. The second key to the foundation for change is to take a holistic approach. And when I say holistic, I mean a total approach of all of the areas of your life. And then the third is to answer the diagnostic questions. So let's delve into that for a minute. When we live by the book, you have your planner. When we look at the holistic approach, look at 6 goal areas in your life. The 6 goal areas, now there are other areas, but the 6 primary goal areas in your life are personal goals, things that you want to do personally, like your weight, your look, things you want to learn. Family goals, what are your goals for your family? You know, your kids, your spouse, your significant other, your parents. Professional goals, how are you doing on your job? How are you doing in your profession? What are you doing to make things happen in your profession? Are you going for a promotion? Are you looking to move up, or are you just holding pattern? Financial goals. Do you have more month at the end of the money? What is your budget? These type of goals, these financial goals are critical, because if you are not on top of your financial goals, then accumulating wealth is going to be extremely difficult. If you do not have a budget, if you do not know your cash flow. Spiritual goals. And I'm not talking religious, spiritual goals. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And so there are certain spiritual laws that can help lift you up and move you on to accomplish the things you set out to do. Community goals. What do you intend to have? What do you intend to do in your life to make things happen? How do you want to interact with your community? You know, today, when people so often feel connected or disconnected, community goals are extremely important. Now, let's just let this settle in for a moment, because I want us to get a good sense of where we're really at right now. So let me just, let's just take a little pause, because I know that some of you may want to get some notebook paper and some other things you would like to accomplish. So let's just take a little breather and let you do that. When we look at where we are right now, so now we just looked at our goal areas. We just analyzed our goal areas. When we begin to ask the diagnostic questions, what are some of the diagnostic questions? Question number one is to ask yourself, what are my goals for this year? And if you don't already have them written down, write them down now. But in any event, once you ask that question, what are my goals for this year? If you don't have them, write them now. If you do have them, look at them. Second diagnostic question, am I happy with my performance? Well, if you didn't have any goals, then you can't be happy or unhappy. You need to get in the game. But if you did have goals, are you happy with your performance? How do you feel about the progress you've made so far? If you're not happy with it, why are you not happy with it? Did you not hang in there strong enough? Did you permit somebody to distract you? Whatever happened, are you happy or are you not happy? Another question. What can I do to improve my performance this year? Now, these are the type of questions when we do this diagnostic and when we talk about pivoting and changing and creating that new you. What can I do to improve my performance this year? Now to look at the results you've gotten, that assessment you did with the Ben Franklin method. Once you look at that and say, well, what can I do? Well, I need to be more diligent, okay? I permitted people to pull me off track. Okay? I didn't plan properly. I was disorganized. Whatever those things are that kept you from achieving your very best, fix them. Make a list of what you can do to improve your performance this year. Another question. What will happen if I improve my performance this year? So based on where you are right now, you make a list of your goals and you look at your performance to date. What will happen if I improve my performance this year? This now becomes the foundation for your vision. And see, your vision is broken down into goals. We'll get into that. But this diagnostic exercise is critical. We have a workbook where you can go and really list those things out. Because once you lay them out and write them out so that you can see them, you can now act on them. What we find when we do the diagnosis, what you will find when you do your own self-diagnosis, is that you either live in your dreams or your fears. And I think that the goal of everybody on this program is to live your dreams and not your fears. Once again, Einstein said it. Insanity is doing the same things over and over and expecting a different result. Once you do this analysis and you see how you've been working to date, and you see what your life would be like if you improved your performance and accomplished the things you set out to do, this gives you cause for change. So now where do we go from here? Now that we've looked at assessing and addressing, we see where we are. We look at the new goals we have to finish up this year and to make it our year for success. We know what we have to do to change. How do we move forward? Number one, we've assessed and addressed. Number two, commit to operate on a daily basis. You see, once you get into this transformation process, it's not something you can do and start and stop. I mean, if you get off track, you can always get back on track. But for maximum results, you want to operate on a daily basis, to look at how you accomplish things, to set out goals for each day, and to ask yourself at the end of each day, did I do everything I could with what I had to do it with? And then act accordingly so that you can answer that question and say, yes, I did everything I could with what I had to do it with. 3, take responsibility. You see, the success path is a personal path. All the things we've talked about so far. So we were talking about, where do we go from here? We assess and address our situation. We commit to operate on a daily basis. We take responsibility for our lives. And if it's to be, it's up to me. And then most importantly, we commit to excellence. We say to ourselves, we're going to do the best we can with what we have to do it with. So now, part 3, set your goals. So once you've assessed your situation, once you determine what you have to do to change your life to make it happen, then the third step is to set new goals and objectives. Robert Herbert, what he called Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank, he had a very beautiful quote. He said, "A goal without a timeline is a dream." Let me say that again. A goal without a timeline is a dream. Tony Robbins had a beautiful quote. Tony said, "Setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible." Let me say that again. Setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible. So the question I have is, whatever we want to be, whatever we want to do, whatever we want to have, starts with setting goals. Goals are the power tool for manifestation. Goals are the process by which you're able to create the life of your dreams. If you can make it a goal, you can get it done. There's a beautiful scripture that says, where there's no vision, the people perish. On a personal level, where you have no vision, you fail. If you have no vision for yourself, you can't make goals, because your goals are the stair steps to your vision. Write that down. My goals are the stair steps to my vision. This is critical. My goals are the stair steps to my vision. When we talk about that GPS, that success GPS again, to imagine our lives, we are a big GPS ourselves, and we have a destination and we have a location. And the destination is the goals we set for ourselves. And you know how the GPS works. Once you put in that destination, as long as you're heading towards the goal, everything's fine. And it tells you, turn left, turn right, do this, do the other. When you go off track, it says recalculating. And so this idea of a success GPS is powerful. Look at your whole life as being one big GPS, where you are and where you want to go, and then you operate accordingly. So when we set goals, our goals must be smart. So many times we set goals that are not really goals. We say, I want to be happy. What does that mean? I want to be rich. One man's rich is another man's poor. I had a coach once, and he said, what is your goal, Dr. Harris? And I said, my goal is to make $1 million a year. That was my paradigm. I want to make $1 million a year. I had calculated it all out. That's $84,000 a month. He said, why not make $1 million a month? instead of $1 million a year. And when he said that to me, my mind went into almost like, you know how the computer's buffering? My mind then went into a buffering thing. I had never thought about making $1 million a month. What would my life be like if I were making $1 million a month? So for those of you listening, whatever your financial goal is, multiply it by 10. And then visualize what your life would be like if you were making that amount of money a month or a year, whatever your goals are. So a lot of people says, I want a six-figure income. Okay, that's $100,000 a year. Well, multiply it by 10. What would your life? 6 figures, 100,000 a year. That's only about $8,400 a month. Okay. So if you say, well, let me multiply it by 10, how would my life be if I were making $84,000 a month? And so this idea, when you make it specific, you see what it does to you. It stimulates you and it helps you create a new vision. So your goals must be SMART, S, specific. It's got to be definite. You got to be able to say what it is. M, it's got to be measurable. To say happiness, that's not a goal. That's an end result. You must, to achieve it, you must figure out exactly what happiness means to you. There's maybe a financial side, so it's got to be measurable. A, it's got to be set in advance. The only way that a GPS is functional is when you put in a destination in advance. You can't drive down the road and think you're going to get somewhere. I'm not going to put a destination in yet. I'm going to wait till I get closer. Closer to what? So set in advance. R, it must be realistic. Now, let me warn you on this. Realistic based on where you are right now. See, someone said, well, nothing is impossible. That's true. Okay. But it may not be practical based on where you are right now. So it's got to be realistic based on where you are. And then it's got to cover a certain time period. And see, the time period is what gives it power. We live on this river of time. We all have a certain amount of time that we live. And so it's what we do with that time that makes the difference. So your goals must be SMART, specific, measurable, set in advance, realistic, cover a time period. It's important to ask this question. What is your joy? What brings you joy? You see, once you determine what's your joy, then you're in a position now to take control of your life. My son once asked me, he said, Dad, how do you figure out what to do with your life? And I told him, I said, well, what do you love doing? He told me he loved music. He wanted to be a DJ. He wanted to be a DJ. And so I said, well, good. The secret to life is to figure out what you love doing, what brings you joy, and then figure out a way to get paid for it. You know, the funny thing about my son, I told him that, and I said, go write it down. Write down what you want to be. I want to be a disc jockey. And he started putting really like color into it. I want to be the drive time disc jockey, 4 to 8 p.m. Oh, he had it. And you know what happened? Let me share this story with you. And this can happen to you. The moment you write stuff down, it creates a vibration in the universe that can make it manifest. He wrote it down. He asked me one other thing. He said, well, how do you get a job at a radio station? I said, you go down there and see if you can get one. Go apply for something. Of course, he went to the radio station. He wanted to be a DJ. And what did they tell him? You have no experience. He said, I said, well, just stay in the house. Sometimes just get in the building. Just get in the door. So he took a job in maintenance, cleaning up the place like a gopher. And sure enough, he worked in the evenings. He worked there in the radio station. When everybody left, he'd be playing to learn how to plug in what he called the bus. He learned how to do all the stuff on it. He was practicing on the turntables and all that stuff. And one night, the 12 o'clock DJ did not come in. So the owner calls and says, Sean, where's it? He said, well, go put this cassette in. And, let me see, I'm way out here. I can't get there to do something. Put the cassette in, see if we can get the station running automatic. You know what Sean did? He took up the mic and he had been practicing in his mind. He said, this is DJ Love. And guess what? The next day he had a job. And so when you figure out what you love doing and write it down, you can attract that thing into your life. Now, what are you willing to do to make money from what you enjoy doing? Now, this is the question. Suppose Sean was not willing to take a job at the radio station cleaning up. He'd have never been in the house. So for those of you who are listening today, think about this. What are you willing to do to make money from what you enjoy doing? Maybe you need to go back to school, get some more training. Maybe you need to make some new contacts. But this is key. What are you willing to do? Because the moment you make a commitment to do that, you've opened the door. Now, when we talk about this goal setting piece, remember we said those 6 areas of your life. It's important to look at the 6 areas of your life and to set goals in each area. Now, you don't have to deal with each area with great intensity. You may not put as much time into your community goals as you put into your financial goals. But it's important to be aware of all of this because we're talking about a holistic approach to life. If your money is right and your family is wrong, you're not going to be happy. If your money is right and you hate your job, you're not going to be happy. So it's about bringing about a holistic realization of where you are and all the things that affect you. So as an exercise, write your goals, write your personal goals. You want to lose weight? How much? By when? Write your family goals, who you need to make up with, who you need to apologize to. Write your professional goals. Are you going for a promotion? Do you want to be the CEO? What are your professional goals? Where do you want to go? Are you just showing up to get a paycheck? Just to feed your family? Guess what? They're only going to pay you enough to keep you from quitting. What are your spiritual goals? Your spiritual goals, they may not impact you right this minute, but if you're developing your spirit base, I've met many of you as I talk with Sade, young lady in New York. We do a fantastic Friday together. And I've been listening and watching her grow spiritually and metaphysically. And when you start feeding yourself on that spiritual level, it opens up other centers. As a directive to change your life right now, to make this year your year for outrageous success, write your goals in the 6 goal areas. So what's the process for accomplishing your goals? Let's look at this. Number 1, be clear about who you are. Because whatever you do, you always bring yourself to the party. If you got a bad attitude, you can go to a great party and think it's terrible. So be clear about who you are, what you're about, what you will do, and what you will not do. 2, understand the principle of vision. You see, if you can see it in your mind, if you can see it in your imagination, you can manifest it in your life experience. Number 3, your goals must be smart. As long as you have specific, measurable, set in advance, realistic, cover a certain time period goals, you can make it happen. Write your vision. You see, the vision of yourself is like a painting. When you write the vision of how you want to be in all aspects, in the personal aspects, in the family aspects, in the professional aspects, you paint a picture of yourself that creates a vibration that starts to attract it into your life. Then number 5, make and execute a plan. When I get letters from people who've used the 12 universal laws of success to change their lives, that chapter 7, the law of action, is something that they really respond to because they say they've never seen how to write an action plan, how to actually write out an action plan to get things accomplished in their lives. They've read a lot of books, but that's a step-by-step piece. Because once you write the vision, then number 5, you can make and execute a plan to take you there. Part 4, Commitment to action. After you've done all that, you've assessed, you've addressed, you've set some new goals, but still the rubber's got to hit the road. Jean-Paul Sartre said something profound. He said, commitment is an act, not a word. You know, when you talk about, I hear a lot of companies talking about, we're committed, and people, I got commitment, the leadership is committed, etc. If you got to say and talk about commitment, there may be a chance that you're not that committed. Commitment is an act that you demonstrate by what you do. The main commitment is your commitment to yourself for personal excellence. Dennis Waitley said something. He said, commitment is the turning point in life when you seize the moment and convert it into an opportunity to alter your destiny. Let's diagnose that. Commitment is the turning point. Sometimes we call it the pivot. That once you make that commitment in your life, and once you seize the moment of that commitment, and once you convert that moment, that commitment to an opportunity, this can alter your destiny. What's the difference between commitment and desire? Desire is interesting. Commitment is desire where there's no turning back. We know, we always tell the story of the chicken and the pig. Master teacher was having breakfast one day, and he was explaining to the student the difference between desire and commitment, involvement and commitment. And he said, as he was sitting there, interesting, he was having fried eggs and bacon. And he said to the student, he said, now, when I look at my breakfast, the chicken is involved with my breakfast, but the pig is committed. Now, the chicken laid an egg, he can lay an egg another day. But the pig who gave up that bacon, he had to lose his life. And so commitment, the difference between commitment and desire, when you're committed, then there's no alternative. It's only success. When you're committed, then failure is not an option. You may have a lesson, but you keep on picking, keep on tweaking, keep on punching. The heart of commitment is choice. And this is where the rubber hits the road, folks, because choice about how you live your life, the things you choose to do, the actions you choose, the thoughts you permit, the emotion, everything is a choice. You choose your thoughts. You choose the emotions that you permit yourself to be affected by. You choose your habits. You choose your relationships. So whatever your life becomes is based on the choices you make. We are where we are because of the choices we make and the actions we take on those choices. So when we talk about this commitment to action, you have to have a clear picture of what the good life looks like. What success? Remember we said, what would your life look like if you changed your modus operandi and you created a vision for yourself? What does the good life look like? What does your promised land look like? The greater you can see it, the more detail you can see it, you can feel it, you can hear it, you can smell it. You know how it moves. The greater your sensory involvement with the vision that you have for yourself, the more likely it is to manifest. And even more importantly, the quicker it is to manifest. So let's head down now to 9 steps for becoming a success. So once you've done these things and assessed, now you got to have a recipe to follow. And this is, a lot of this is in the 12 universal laws of success. Number 1, do not procrastinate. That the moment you made that choice and that decision, get busy. Don't put off what should have been done today to another day. The other side of don't procrastinate, number 2, is to do it now. That no matter what your goals may be, no matter what your vision may be, there's always something you can do right now. So you just be committed to do whatever you can right now. You know, someone said, well, I want to get a degree. I want to go back to college. That's going to take 5 years. Okay. But you can right now, today, You can go online and find get catalogs and information about the colleges to help you make your choice. You can go online immediately and find out how much it costs to get you an idea of how much money you need. So there's always something you can do right now. Number 3, stand on your own 2 feet. One of the problems with people is so many times people wait for somebody else to help them. I would be successful if I could do it, but. In other words, when you stand on your own 2 feet, you take responsibility for what it is. If it does not work, you did it. But if it does not work, you learn from it. When it does work, you did it. You're victorious. Number 4, don't fear failure. You cannot be successful without failing. Failure is a dress rehearsal for success. So when you fail, look at it, change your attitude, and make it a learning experience. Number 5, know your true worth. I guarantee that each and every one of you on here probably undervaluing yourself. When you really look at your assets and your gifts, you're probably worth a lot more than you thought you were. Number 6, develop the habit of being goal-oriented. You see, anything you can set as a goal. So if you have a task to do, when we finish this program tonight, I guarantee you those of you will have written down new things that you want to do, new goals. And those new goals, you can make it happen. You can work with them. All you got to do is write them down. Always be goal-oriented. Whatever you set out to do, make it a game, make it a goal, lay out the action steps and a plan to get it done. Number 7, visualize your goals. Everything comes from vision. Where there's no vision, the people perish. Where there is a vision, you succeed. Visualize your goals. If you can't visualize it, you'll have difficulty attaining it. Number 8, plan your work and work your plan. That goes without saying. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And then finally, keep going and growing. This whole process of evolution is an evolutionary process that we grow through. If you're not going through anything, many of us say, man, I have challenge after challenge after challenge. Well, that's what's necessary to help you grow. If you're attracting a lot of obstacles and a lot of challenges into your life, the purpose of that is to help you grow through it. Because until you grow through it, you will keep going through it again and again. Let me say that again. Until you grow through the challenges that you're experiencing right now, you will continue to go through them again and again. So what does it take to create the new you? What does it take to create this new person right now that's going to get the things done to make this year your year for outrageous success? Remember this: what you recognize, whatever you focus on, whatever you visualize, you energize in your feeling nature. And whatever you energize in your feeling nature, you realize in your life experience. So create the vision of that you want to be, do and have. So the question is, for those who are on this interesting webinar tonight, are you really ready for a change? Are you just playing? Will you continue to make do, to settle for, and never have enough? That's your choice. But if you want to change, if you want to create the new you, number 1, consistent study and application. Not sometimes study, not sometime apply. It's rather to work 1 hour a day on your goals for 6 days a week, every week, than to work 20 hours one day or over 2 days. Something about consistent study and application. Number 2, daily preparation. That you become the person you want to be on a daily basis. There's a reason that the sun comes up every day. Night comes every night. There's a cycle, there's a daily aspect, a daily harmonic. And when you can become congruent with that harmonic, your powers are enhanced. Number 3, daily execution. In other words, every day the rubber must hit the road. Every day you must get out there and do something towards making your life complete and achieving your goals. Number 4, monitor your progress daily. It's a daily battle, folks. Any day that you don't get anything accomplished is a wasted day. Time is God's gift to you. What you do with that time is your gift to God. Number 5, keep going and growing. Never become complacent. There's always something more. You are moving up. Life is like a great mountain. And each time you grow through something and go to another level, there's more to see. And whenever there's more to see, there's more to be. And it goes on and on and on. So what's the best, most effective way to create the new you? Tell you what it is. The best, most effective way right now to create the new you is to get the new you for the New Year home study course. I said we had Chris from Australia on. We had some other people on who've purchased the course and who've been using it. And I think when we do the makeup, we're going to hear from some of you and how you've been working with it and making it happen. But the New Year home study course gives you a powerful tool to work on your own time, on your own schedule. And some of the advantages of having a home study course is that you can do it at your own pace. You see, everybody's time is we're busier than ever. So you can work at your own pace. Some people may want to work 2 hours straight. You may just want to work 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day. But that's up to you in a home study course. There's an easy to use workbook. And the beauty of this workbook is that you can do it online or offline. We set it up so that if you're working from a phone and you don't have a printer, you can still put in the information, the answers to the questions, and use it to help you create the new you. If you print it off, you can have it to use offline. And to plug into our monthly mastermind, we have a success support group that we've been really doing for quite some time, and we started reconstituting it now. That when you can plug in with people who are on the same vibration that you're on, it's a powerful move. What do you get in the new you for the New Year home study course? You get 4 audio lessons, each one of them at least a half hour long, 4 audio lessons that go over these 4 points: assess and address, making the changes, setting new goals, commitment to action. In addition, you get an audio on how to study. You know, many of us have been out of school for so long, we may not be up on the study methods. And so the SQ 3-hour study method to help you become more effective. You get a study guide and workbook to guide you in your study in the workbook so you can start writing down the things that will help transform your life. You get a certificate of completion. You can frame it and put it up on your wall with your name on it. And then you can participate in our live mastermind sessions. We actually do 2 a month, and you can be a part of that. So what you get with the course, we have some special bonuses. For those of you who've already purchased the course, just let me know and I'll make sure you get the special bonuses on top of it. But those of you who are getting it now, special. We have an additional course called Should You Be an Entrepreneur? I've been doing a lot of trainings now with folks in different network marketing companies, and a lot of questions come up is with this new pandemic that you need to make some new choices. So as a bonus course, we have Should You Be an Entrepreneur? That's a $97 value itself. You'll also get a 12 Affirmations to Live By poster so that you can do your daily programming. And you get a 3-month complimentary membership in the Success Mentorship Network, which gives you the 2 mastermind sessions a month, but also it gives you access to the Success Vault. I mean, we have videos, audio, stuff there that you can use at your own pace, your own system. Look at what you need. Maybe you need a goal, a lesson on focus, a lesson on overcoming procrastination. We have a lot of those things there. in the Success Vault. What does it cost? Someone once said, it's not what it costs, it's what you can make from it. It's the value of it. Our regular cost for this class, the New You for the New Year Home Study course, is $97, but we have a special introductory cost price of $47. And in addition to the course, you get the goodies we just mentioned. How do you purchase it? You can go to www.herbertharris.com. That's www.herbertharris.com. Click on the Home Study Courses tab, scroll down, and get the course. So thank you so much for being with us tonight. Share this broadcast with others. Whatever you do, go to our website, herbertharris.com. We'd love to have you as a part of the Success Mentorship team, but get your home study course to help you be what you want to be, do what you want to do, and have whatever you want to have. Always knowing that the best is yet to come.